Ah, video. Yeah, response video to this AD Johnson guy, whatever, I guess. I might as well play the video and see what happens. I don't know, it's supposed to be done by that anarchy jerking off video guy. Something about it anyway.
People of YouTubia, the universe has spoken. Let it be pronounced that chocolate is better than vanilla. Eating chocolate things is absolutely better than eating vanilla things.
Yeah, nobody's making that argument. Absolutely no one. So I guess these idiots are arguing against the idea that there is a capacity to rationally discern an accurate description of value in the universe. And so in spite of the fact that no one's arguing about these subjective, idiotic human tendencies, like somehow it's better to be a homosexual than a heterosexual or some kind of nonsense like that, no one's arguing that, but that's of course what they're going to argue.
Yeah. Vanilla makes me puke. All vanilla eaters are wrong and have sinned. Bow to the chocolate cup.
Yeah, see, no one's saying that. What people have said, though, is if you waste suffering, you squander it, you use up a lot of people to gain your happiness. So if you're some stupid asshole who, you know, just doesn't care, drives down the road and just runs over anything that's in his way and is just reckless and sloppy, versus somebody who takes caution and is careful and does make sure he doesn't kill people or run over pedestrians and all that stuff, that somehow there's a qualitative difference there. That's right, one person has made a mess and the other person has made what is not a mess. One person has wasted and squandered and the other person hasn't. And we can, because we're rational and have brains, we can figure out that, oh yeah, it's better not to waste something valuable like suffering.
Or die. OMG, is that chocolate guy up there again? What a nutter.
Yeah, chocolate guy, WTF. Are you a crazy religious guy or something? I mean, ice cream flavors? That is so subjective. It's just...
Yeah, nobody's arguing that. Nobody on the internet is arguing that. No one. So this is like completely straw man argument. So where's straw man? Could you put straw man on the screen?
Something you happen to arbitrarily believe.
No, chocolate is universally and ultimately good.
Yeah, so they're doing this as a metaphor, and so they're saying that apparently they're arguing that suffering, which has been defined as this one of these universal value things, is not explicitly proven beyond a reasonable doubt, met that standard, to be of substance in terms of its meaningful weight. That it has meaning, it has gravity, meaning gravity. And they're arguing that no, it's as arbitrary as chocolate. No, sorry. Fail, 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 fail. It's not soapbox, it's straw box. Straw man.
Like it, you are wrong.
It's none of my business what gives you fucktards a hard on. It's just your ape brain lying to you, shitwad. You're just addicted to some flavors because of evolution, dumb shit. If your ancestors weren't attracted to sugary flavors, they would have starved, retard. It's just consumption and reproduction, asshole. It's all a lie.
Hey, they got this part right. That's exactly correct.
Fucktard.
Yeah, yay, inmendham. Awesome. Chocolate is better than vanilla? What a load of crap. Who cares about your personal taste? Who cares what you personally like and don't like?
Oh, ow, 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 I just fell off the podium and stubbed my pinky toe. Fuck, 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 ow. I hate it when that happens. Almost as much as I hate vanilla.
What did we just say, chocolate guy? Who cares about what you personally dislike? Whether it's toe stubbing or vanilla. It's just your own ape brain lying to you, retard. You're just addicted to not having your toe stubbed because of evolution, dumb shit. If your ancestors didn't feel pain, they would have stubbed their toes all the way off. It's just consumption and reproduction, asshole. It's all a lie, fucktard. Right, inmendham? Right? Right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's absolutely correct. Yes, you got it correct this time.
Inmendham, right?
No way, fucktard. Rawr.
But Inmendham, you just said
Shut up.
Evolution,
Shut up.
consumption,
Shut up. Shut up.
reproduction, addiction.
Shut up. Be quiet. If you don't shut up when I ask you, I'm gonna have to kick you, shitwit. It's obviously universally wrong for toes to be stubbed. It's not just something evolution invented or something I arbitrarily happen to believe. This is the only logical, rational, unrefutable, mystical truth echoed by the cosmos themselves. The universe has spoken. Let it be pronounced that not stubbing toes at all is absolutely better than stubbing toes sometimes.
Yeah, well, let's say, it's absolutely no point in it if you can avoid stubbing your toe. I mean, if it's going to, like, get you laid, you stub your toe and then the chick sees it and she has sympathy. All right, so that's called an exception to the rule. Okay, but we can write the rule. The rule is that, yeah, stubbing your toe is not likely to produce any good whatsoever. 99.99999% of the time. It's only because of some defect in the circumstance that, yeah, once in a while it works out. Like once in a while something really terrible happens and it's all good for you. That's the way it works.
Stubbing toes makes me puke. All people who don't hate toe stubbing are wrong. You fuckers can't come up with one piece of evidence that I'm wrong. Fucktard. But when I scream at people, no feelings are ever hurt.
Oh, whatever. That's the price you pay for the truth. That's right. You got to break some eggs, asshole. That's right. But yeah, I think we can say the minimus amount of harm caused by the word fucktard. Yeah, what is that? Like 1/1000th of a toe stub? So, I mean, it takes an awful lot of fucktards before you even get to a toe stub. And then you're a long way from even 1 day of chemotherapy, butthead. So, this is kind of silly.
Get fucktard. Shut up.
Come on, Inmendham. Don't be like chocolate guy.
What the fuck did you just say to me? Blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, good. I wouldn't do that karate thing, though. I'm not a big fan of that karate crap. So, I think that's kind of chocolatey. So anyway, it was sort of entertaining, I suppose. A little cartoon now and then is, it breaks the routine. So we'll accept that. So we might as well do Broken Mech since this was short. Let's do his bullshit. Do.
So just a quick response to Inmendham's response to me. Yeah, my name, the Broken Mech username, I picked that name when I was listening to Inmendham. I think it was Blog TV, probably almost 2 years ago. And it was asking me to put in a username because I was registering. Inmendham happened to say broken mechanism. I think he was talking about viruses or something at the time. And so that's how I did it, Broken Mech, and I've kept the name on various sites ever since, and I like it.
Yeah, so whatever. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So he's going to say blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I agree with Gary, but then I disagree with Gary, blah, blah, blah. But we'll move ahead.
Express your dissent. You're on the out. So
yeah, that's not how it happened anyway. Yeah, and if you do, especially if you start expressing your dissent in some cheaty, manipulative bullshit manner, then you're really out. Yeah, so if you start stealing other people's content or fucking with this or cheating the argument, yeah, then you're really out. That's right.
Basically where I do disagree with Inmendham is I disagree with him obviously on his Holocaust denial, which I didn't even know about at first. I sort of was shocked to sort of come across those videos of him saying that stuff. And I also disagree with inmendham on his moral philosophy. Particularly, I disagree that I don't think, has demonstrated any sort of objective value system.
Oh, yeah. Well, fine. Again, you haven't, you don't, I don't think he has, and then you don't present any other argument, though. You just say, I don't think he has, but you haven't explained how you go about doing that thinking. So you first haven't provided an alternative theory to be torn down at all. Your, whatever, your unicorn or your rainbow theory, whatever the fuck it is, of value, except to say you don't think anything has any real value. We're all just making up our own. We all have no credibility whatsoever. And so, yes, if you're a mass murderer, it's probably okay because, yeah, you like to mass murder. So, yeah, you should do that, even though the rest of us think you shouldn't do it. You should ignore what we're saying because we're all full of shit, and you should just continue to mass murder. Because you're right, it's okay for you to mass murder. So as long as you can get away with it, just keep on doing what you're doing, mass murderers. I mean, what the fuck? What you have to come up with some sort of justification for your bullshit, and you haven't argued anything, not a single point. I give you example after example after example. And what's your counter argument? You have none. Use the Karen Ann Quinlan example. We waste zillions, billions of dollars, anyway, billions of dollars keeping essentially dead people alive. Billions of dollars. Now that money is valuable. Those resources are valuable. There's just no doubt of what they could do in the world, especially a world where 2 million kids will go blind for a lack of vitamin A. So in that world, billions of dollars is a significant thing, and it's being wasted on corpses. Now, what's your value equation that makes that make sense?
In the universe, and the system that he does propose, I think, has obvious flaws. In that,
yeah, well, you're not going to describe a single flaw. You're just going to critique it based on it smells bad. You're not going to say that it's illegitimate in some way it was processed or produced. You're just going to say, no, it just doesn't. It's not agreeable. It's not easily digested. It's not what me as a subjective, selfish son of a bitch human wants to hear. All too fucking bad.
Demands the extinction of life.
Again, I'm not going to reiterate the point, but yeah, I think I made it. It's so clear. I mean, I just yelled it into the camera. It's about first not causing any harm. First, do no harm. It's not a complex equation. So if you don't sit there and if you don't make yourself a menace, then there's no need for anything to kill you or to stop you or to prevent you. So quit imposing life. Quit being an imposer. All right, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want. But you're the one saying it's not a trespass for you to create life and throw it into this circumstance, to play your Frankenstein monster games. I'm saying that ethically there's no justification for being a Frankenstein. You're not allowed to play games with other sentient beings' welfare. And unless you can guarantee their welfare, you have no business doing it. It's just complete bullshit.
So, the third thing I disagree with inmendham about is his views on fair use. I think he has a very poor understanding of the fair use.
Yeah, well, again, no argument. Just, I'm broken mech, and everybody should pay attention to me when I say I don't like it. So you shouldn't like it because I say I don't like it. There. You're not making an argument. So how exactly in fair use law is there an exemption? Where does it say in fair use law? Academic, informational, commentary, those are allowed. It doesn't say anywhere in there malicious slander. Okay, there's no fair use exception, okay, for malicious slander. And again, understand, copyright law, it's about an exception where the law is saying we'll give you the right to take somebody else's property, something they own first rights to. They own the derivatives of. It's in the law. They own the derivatives. I'm the one. If I'm going to have a Hitler mustache, I'm the one who gets to put a Hitler mustache on me, not somebody else. All right, and they only have a right to take my derivative rights away from me if they're doing it for academic reasons or informational reasons, educational reasons, or strict commentary. But if their motive is malicious slander, there's no exception for that. They're not allowed to take my rights then. you dumb shit. Now argue that point, you stupid motherfucker, and quit saying, I don't think, with no fucking explanation of why you don't think.
Provision, and I don't agree with his justifications for suing people and DMCAing people, etc.
Yeah, etc. So, yeah, but you, again, no argument whatsoever. Nothing to be argued except for your credibility to why you're not an authority. And you're not an authority.
So, on his moral philosophy, though, I just want to point out to, a lot of the people commenting on my last video, they seem to be coming at me as though I'm somehow misunderstanding the ethical equation that inmendham is proposing to
well, you're clearly misunderstanding that there are levels to the argument, okay? And again, the first argument is do no harm. The second argument is what you do if you keep doing harm, and whether there should be some sort of punishment, some sort of deterrence for doing harm, whether we can impose that deterrence. And then the third thing would be, well, what if you know for a certaintude that people are just going to be belligerent lawbreakers and there's no way to stop it? Well, then you have to, somebody has a right to stop it.
For how to ascertain moral value in the universe. I don't think inmendham thinks I'm misunderstanding. I think I understand perfectly well what he's saying. I'm just
again, you're not taking it anywhere. Yeah, you're taking it to an unnecessary conclusion, which I'll also argue. I said the words deliberately and overtly. Zero-sum game. That means there's no way to win. It means that the whole game we're playing is a game we're playing with a mess we created. I've said it so fucking clearly. We're basically burning half the house down, and then we rebuild 1/4 of the house. And then we say, wow, we did a great job. Look, we rebuilt 1/4 of the house. Okay, the house still has 1/4 that's burned to the ground. Okay, there's still a negative that exists. And all I'm saying is the net game is negative. That's all it can be. And all we can do is minimize the negative. And that should be the priority. How close we can get to the zero sum, who knows? The point is that's the direction you head in. You head in the reduced negative direction. Idiot.
Absurd conclusion. And in inmendham's response to me, he doesn't say that I'm wrong. He says that
Yeah, no, what I said is pretty clear, and what you're denying here, and what you've obviously trespassed against, what you said you just heard me say. I made the argument quite clear. Don't impose. Quit being an imposer, and then nobody has to stop you from imposing. Then there's no fucking problem. But you won't quit imposing. So as long as you quit imposing, there's a problem that needs to be dealt with. Your imposition.
Haven't demonstrated why what he's saying is wrong. He also...
Right, and you don't do that in this video either. You'll never do it because you don't have any counter argument that's going to make any sense whatsoever. The only counter argument you can come up with is going to be complete bullshit.
He continually sort of denies that it's his moral philosophy, and he puts it out there as some kind of objective truth, and he does this over and over again. It's a truth about the world. It's a truth about life.
Well, yeah, I deliberately rephrased it to state it as a theory of moral philosophy. I said the word theory, at least 3-4 times in that video. But again, you're just going to keep ignoring what people say. You're just going to keep twisting it and turning it into some other bullshit, okay? You're going to create your straw men to tear down your straw men. I mean, you're just so obvious in the game you're playing, okay, with your cheap and irresponsible mischaracterizations of the argument. And,
I mean, that's not a valid thing to do. It's your position. You defend your position. That's how it works.
And I don't have a problem doing that, but again, you keep talking about it, though. You have no right to say that it's, how to put this? Like it's like you're trying to make it some sort of personal thing, some sort of individual feeling thing, some sort of bullshit like that. No, it's a Vulcan thing. You can talk about Mr. Spock, but Mr. Spock is a Vulcan, okay? So you want to talk about Vulcan morality, fine, all right? But it's not really about Mr. Spock morality.
To just say, well, it's just the truth. That's the way it is. You know, of course, other people have written about this, and other people do talk about this exact type of utilitarian equation that inmendham talks about. But anyway, the bottom line is, I really don't think I've misunderstood him, and I don't think I'm...
Exactly, you're just a habitual mischaracterizer. So yeah, you don't misunderstand at all. You just deliberately and willfully and quite with volition pervert, distort, to slander, and to distract. So you suck.
Somehow not using his ethical equation properly. The bottom line is that, you know, you put the variables into the equation and it computes them in the hypothetical moral calculating computer. It's going to output the results, and the results are going to be the required ethical action. So if you put in variables X, Y, and Z, it's going, and if the required ethical action is that you have to, you know, in order to create the greatest reduction in net suffering in the universe, if that computation requires the extinction of life, or the extinction of 50% of life, or the extinction of this percentage of humans, whatever it is that the result is. And I'm not saying I can calculate that. I'm just saying that the system that he's proposing, this is what it entails.
Yeah, right. It's not that complicated, but you want to make it complicated. But yeah, that's right. But again, it doesn't say anything. If you're living your life without perpetuating the game, then you're not harmful. You want to live it out, finish your addiction. It's a minor trespass, but that's not the game your people are playing. So you're going to keep perpetuating things. So you can talk about extinction like it's a scary word, like, all right, we're going to exterminate. And that's the rhetoric you're playing with, but it has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with this idea that you're not going to accomplish anything by putting some new asshole on planet Earth to play out another stupid adventure of stupid human tricks. And that's all this is stupid human tricks. And you're just pretending that it's not. But all you are is pretending. You don't have an argument that it's not.
The computation outputs the required ethical behavior, and if that is murder, then it's murder. If it's suicide, it's suicide. There's no...
Again, you've completely missed the most important thing to do, which is not to procreate. Okay, so again, you just ignore the primary argument, and the Frankenstein analogy. I mean, I made it as clear as I could possibly make it. You've totally ignored, okay, that easy, simple prophylactic measure, and then you've gone to the extreme measure, which is, well, if they won't use the prophylactic, if they won't be responsible, then what do you do? All right, well, then it has to start getting hostile. Then it has to be that, yeah, well, you've got to take the short-term loss for the long-term gain.
Provision in that ethical system for any subjective valuation.
Well, again, what subjective evaluation would have any credibility in such equations? I mean, they are what they are. They're quite obvious and clear in terms of the basic mechanics. I mean, again, I'm going to argue we can't do anything with 100% certainty, but we know what the probabilities are, and that's all you need to know.
You know, if the computation is that Dylan, that's me, Broken Mac, causes too much suffering in the world, well then the ethical thing to do is to eliminate Broken Mac.
Yeah, well, you said too much. So if we define too much, in that you end up through your gluttony, you know, killing 2 other people prematurely and causing them great harm, or 10 other people. Let's just make it an obscene example. Well, what's the rational thing to do? Is to let the 10 be ruined to allow you to satisfy your gluttony? That would be silly and stupid. Look, if it came out that the equation came out that I could, you know, by enduring being crucified on a cross, I could save 100,000 people from cancer. Well, you know, I'm not gonna like it. All right, I'm not gonna you know, say, oh yeah, I can't wait to go, you know, be crucified on a cross. But I mean, rationally, I'm not gonna be able to defend not doing it. I'm not gonna be able to make a rational argument saying I don't want to. No, all I'll be able to say is me individually as a selfish motherfucker doesn't want to do it. But I can't make a rational argument saying it shouldn't be done. There's just no fucking rational argument. There's no rational argument. I mean, yeah, one person suffers to save 100,000 people from equal or worse suffering. Yeah, it's not that complicated.
That's the only way that computation works. Now, it might output that I don't cause too much suffering, but that is the core essence of that type of ethical calculation. And there's no...
Yeah, that's it. But right, but there's also the argument that it has to be pragmatic. It has to be within the confines of what human beings are capable of accepting as a paradigm, as a structure. So yeah, a lot of this they're not going to accept. I've conceded that in my videos. That's why I don't even bother arguing the absolute conclusion zero-sum argument. I'll make it, and I point it out now and then, but I realize that we're not even close. We can't get people to the, you know, the first step, let alone the 10th step. So I mean, you know, there's just no point arguing all that crap. The point is the direction. What direction does the human race need to move in? It needs to move in that ethical value direction that does the sensible thing, which is not waste suffering ever when it can be avoided.
Way around that. So it doesn't matter what variables you input into it. The only output you get is the required ethical action. And so hypothesis.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, you haven't done anything to argue out of the idea that there is this notion of a value, something of value, meaning, substance, and whether you want to call it pain or whether you want to just call it pain and pleasure. If you want, like I said, I'll concede people want to play the positive game. So if you want to count the positive of undoing your own negatives, well, that's okay. But the bottom line is to reduce the negatives.
I would say that if you take inmendham's premise that all sentient life is predicated on suffering, then the
yeah, it's predicated on the idea that all movement is basically negative and provoked by the existence of unnecessary need, right? Need that doesn't need to exist. So that's once you understand that, I mean, how are you going to argue that? Are you going to argue that there's some need in the universe that humans play the human game? That somehow the universe cries or is in pain or is uncomfortable or nauseous or twitchy or itchy or in some negative state because human beings aren't whacking off on planet Earth? I mean, please. I mean, the point is we create the need, and then we only marginally satisfy some piece of it. And again, celebrate what a wonderful job we did. So we create a huge mess, we fix a little bit of it, and then we give ourselves all trophies and shit. It's preposterously idiotic.
Predictable output of that computation is that the only ethical action is the extinction of life.
Yeah, you could, and it all depends on how you look at it. Again, if I create a reproducing machine that just goes out and consumes and reproduces, and it does it in this horrifically crude way, not caring how much wasted suffering there is or any of this other stuff, and then somebody proposed, let's exterminate the Gary monster. Let's make it extinct because it's just stupid. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't accomplish anything. You're all not going to cry any tears for Argentina, right? You're just going to go out there and go whacking on Gary monsters. That's all this is about, because you're just going to keep pretending that life is some sort of pretty little bloaty yellow and green word with little daisies and birds singing, and that's not what life is. Okay, life is carnage on a horrifically, preposterously insane scale. And so you're just playing a game. So yes, we're suggesting that the sickness doesn't need to be perpetuated.
And I don't even see how that's a surprise to anyone, considering inmendham's, many times repeated sort of, he's made it quite clear. And
again, you haven't made any counter argument quite clear. You haven't said a single fucking thing that unravels any of the simple logic here. Nothing. Nothing. Except I don't like it.
Says to me in his video, well, you're not, so it's the sad truth, or it's just the way it is. Well, yeah, if you're using that ethical system, that's the way it is.
Yeah, well, that's really, wow, what an amazing counter argument. So you haven't, again, you have to shoot it down with something better than that. You didn't shoot anything down. You just conceded that you don't like it, and so you don't like it, period. It doesn't smell good. So yeah, you're not gonna accept it as a philosophy. It's shaped the wrong way. It's it's whatever. I mean, it's just bullshit. Make an argument, asshole. Alright, I got more to say on this moral crap. I don't know if I'll wait till next video. So, till next time and such. Blah, 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 blah. Turn off camera. Cunt. Bitch. Fucker.